Hi guys, and good afternoon. It is the 5th of the 5th, 2022, 1:29 p.m. London time. I've got a very short video for you today just to run over the current positioning that I have in the market, but just to give a view for you to use if you find it useful. So, BTC monthly is downtrending, but the monthly close is dubious. Not really sure how this will develop from here. We have two areas that we are concerned with, really. So take this down to a weekly. We have basically over this high is basically a short, and perhaps we have a range low here. But this, we don't know how price is going to interact with this until we get a bit of height. So I'm going to leave that out for now. The considerable level that you want to be paying attention to if we get height in the macro market is this one right here. All right. So if you move on from there. And if we look at this from a monthly perspective, at the moment, this local climate is trending down. Therefore, any movement into this is assumed to be top heavy, right? If we combine that with the daily view, this is what we have. We have basically a wedge forming at the lows after a bearish monthly close. So sentiment is getting very bearish here because of the amount of time we've bled down for, basically what's being shared on Twitter, but also because of the monthly close. So whilst the sentiment is likely correct, the positional capacity of traders at that point is probably not, because this is what happens when candles close like that. Not every single time they will follow through. It's a good place for a counterparty to place liquidity because people often go short on the back of candle closes. So given that is the case, my thesis was to get long. So I saw this 12-hour close right here and we began to get long, and the thesis wasn't actually to get long to a previous target area, which was this. It's not that. We could go all that way and that will be great for us in some aspect, but what I've said is there's a palpable risk reward up to the 41,000 region, which is the closest area that people would have been trapped trying to buy the dip that subsequently got engulfed in this area, right? So that's also over the swing high here. So if we can move up to there, then it's pretty much we're out, and then we watch for it to develop from there. From there we could get a movement like this where the second trade opportunity comes there. We could, for example, break below here and pump up, and that's where a trade opportunity happens. Or we could just move down, which at that point you're just basically staying out or looking for shorts. So that is basically the BTC chart and analysis complete in quick fashion, and that's why this was what we had posted in the at least I posted in the chat room, right? Might even struggle to get the entire way. I don't know. We're going to have to assess. So from there, I have just a few things to talk about. Dominance is not really that useful for me at the moment, but what I predict, if I'm correct with the BTC analysis, is that we get a small leg up in dominance, or perhaps we get a divergence between the two. So BTC makes a new high, and dominance makes a lower high. And then from there, I'm expecting that we actually go down a little bit. But you know, that's just used as a barometer. I'm not really basing my decisions on this at the moment because it's so ambiguous where we are. I don't like to weigh it heavily, so I'm keeping it as a third or fourth factor with my trades. The main thing that I am paying attention to is obviously strong alt BTC pairs versus weak alt BTC pairs, and just individual setups in the market at this moment in time, and how they will correlate against BTC. So I have a list of plays that, of course, we're talking about. The first one is Tron. So I want to make something very clear for you this morning. Tron is strong, and basically the trade comes for us on a theoretical move from this key level up to this weekly area, right? Now within these two barriers, we got long at between the 190 and 188 level. I filled all the way down to the 186 region, I think, myself. I've taken partial profits already at 226 because there is a little zone here that I had seen. So I had basically placed orders around there, and I've taken out 50% already. The rest will be saved for further upside. So basically want to see how this weekly closes. If we get a strong rejection, I'll be fine with just a small amount of profit. If not, then I'll be looking for the full take profit. This also has the capability to go much higher, which I'm also watching. We talked about this for quite a few months. You have an inverted head and shoulders forming here, and basically get rid of this general area, right, is the last place to serve as a rejection in terms of this sloping behavior. So if we get what we're expecting from there, we prefer to see a higher low, and if that higher low is qualified, we would like to take a big swing trade to this swing high over here. So I hope that's pretty clear for you. Don't really need to complicate that much. Take profits where we can in this current market, and then if we get the right signals, we can go higher. We'll also watch for a potential engulfing candle on the weekly above here. If that's the case, if any of my limits get hit, I will be re-entering towards that swing high. So then from there on, we have BTC and Tron we've talked about. Luna, I'm still hedged short on, right? This is a very difficult pair because of how awkwardly it's moving. So we have this, right? This is the range low and then the range high. We basically have front run both of them. So, things are never easy in trading. So, if I'm saying it's difficult, it's because it usually is. Money isn't that easy in the market. It's not meant to be. But here we have two potentials, right? We have one potential is that we just grind into this pre-supply zone, and then we take out this low and then come for this high. That's my first idea. However, there is a potential that my hedge is stopped out close to where I originally entered it, and that will come on a move to around, I think, 94 for me, right? I don't want to see this get too high. If it does, I believe we're going to come for this, and then I'll try a second proper short opportunity towards fresh new lows, and that will give me extra height to extend this out in this kind of fashion, so where the target then becomes a fill of this entire inefficiency here, and I target much lower, and the risk to reward is significantly higher at that point too. This is just acting as a hedge for my longs, but we have a good risk to reward with the ability to compound and basically double that down, right? So if we get the right signals there, we will be short. This is the same thing that we find on other short pairs. So basically we've talked about this for a while, which is AVAX. I wanted to see a throwdown on AVAX towards this previous high. Now, my current idea is to start filling short, right? So I'm going to fill some shorts just on a 1 hour basis here, right? Just on a 1 hour basis. And the objective is basically this one-to-one extension, as it usually is. But that will be left to my discretion once that occurs. Now, I'm going to begin with a 1 hour position, but what I will do is if we can get some extra height here, so if we get something like this, and a raid and a failure, I'll be able to add more and move my stop down and basically triple my position size, right? So that's really how I'm playing with AVAX. I like the wide stop because it gives me I would say the usefulness of being, having the confidence that it's unlikely I'll get stopped out, but also having the ability to add to the position when the qualifying occurs, and if it just moves, then actually gain something on this movement, right? So that's how I'm dealing with that for AVAX, and that I haven't actually initiated a position yet, but I will initiate it shortly. For another opportunity we're looking at is GMT. So again, in a very awkward spot. Two opinions here. If we take this low before we move into here, then we're going to be looking for a long setup back towards this high with partial take profits up here. And conversely, if we just do this, then yes, we're looking for a short to that area. We have 3 more opportunities in the market, which are all 3 longs, right? We have ENS, which is my current favorite. I missed in my scanning. I completely missed this, or perhaps I wasn't paying attention, but the idea would be for me to get long in this region if we can get another retest, and to take a deep stop loss long back into this area of supply. So we're looking for around 2R on that, but again with this, if we can take out this low, that will be good. That will be good. If we can take out this low, I will probably fill up and increase the width of my stop, right? So I get something like this. Where I get a lower entry and a higher stop and a better risk to reward. at which point it will enable me to take profit perhaps even earlier. You understand? So this is currently how I'm playing ENS, and we'll see how that plan moves from there. We have cake to talk about. So previously I was thinking about a short opportunity, but I'm no longer interested. In fact, I would like to see this form a compression wedge. I'd like to see that perhaps break out, and then I'll enter into a trade with a stop below the low and take profit of up here. All right. Same happens with CRV, similar structure. So not the best local structure because it's wishy-washy, but I would like to see something like that. So we have at least for now some current categorized plays, all of which are being posted or will be posted in the analysis tab. That is the end of the video. It was 11 minutes. It was as quick as I possibly could talk about every scenario from here. Haven't talked about Ethereum, but we don't need to for today. So thank you for tuning in today, guys. Have a lovely day. Peace.